one thing to be talented, it's another thing to have skill. And we're born with talent, but God expects us to put in our part, which is skill. And if we just keep going to the ATM of voice and keep withdrawing and never deposit any knowledge, you know, my people perish. So remember that, ladies. Take care of your instruments so I don't get all these phone calls. And I have to call, see the sign. I say, can you see this singer? Can you, I don't want to have, that's not what I signed up for when I went into this. But it is a part of it, and I don't like having to take care of singers like that. I like to take care of you to make sure that you have longevity, make sure you get that Grammy, that Tony. I have 2 artists that won Tonys last year, Broadway, everything. I want you there. So please take care of this instrument, understand how to take care of it, understand what it's vulnerable to. Without all that talking, it's too much. It can injure it, so just be mindful of that and take care of yourselves. So that's what I do. I always try to, any room I'm in, I try to make sure the singers understand the other side of things. I have been a part of NATFM for, it's a long time, goodness, almost 20 years. Almost 20 years in Chicago, where Johnny found me. And I was actually sitting on the board as a vocal consultant for the Grammys, and that's when she found me. And she said, you know what, we need your voice in NATFM for the women. And I said, absolutely. I met this beautiful lady here, Bree, during that time, and moved here to LA from Chicago about 10 years ago when Patrice said, come to USC. And so I said, really, Patrice? Yeah, come to USC, we need you. Okay, so that's where, if I'm not in my studio in Burbank, you can find me at USC. But I'm always happy to support singers because, I think that's, everyone has a journey in life, and I think that's mine. And I've been blessed enough to live on both sides of that fence. I was a singer, and now I help singers become better singers. And I think that's a great thing. So I love NATFM, and I think I love all your beautiful faces. So thank you for coming out and supporting this organization that means so much to me. Where is Johnny?
She's not here. She's in Memphis.
Oh, okay. Well, we love Johnny Walker. So make
she
sure.
was here for Women Who Jam.
Yeah. Oh, Women Who Jam.
Was one of our
That's what I came in with the other singers on my mind about their health, and I got into that. So I had Women Who Jam was wonderful. It always is wonderful because, we just really don't recognize the amount of talent that's out there that is, pardon the pun, unsung. Until you hear this remarkable talent and you think to yourself, my goodness, where are these voices coming from? But, NATFM always gives women who are unsigned, independent artists, which personally I think that's the way to go now, but, a platform to express themselves, a platform for their original music and their original material to be heard by a diverse group of people. And NATFM has always been a platform for that. So for those of you who are not members of the organization and you have something that you want to contribute to women and empowering women in a creative fashion, this is the organization that can help you realize that, or can at least help your vision be generated to a larger audience, and not just a small segment of your neighborhood or your community, that it can actually, and also give you the encouragement you need to ensure that you don't get, sometimes when we have a vision, we get a little nervous about it. And that's sometimes part of being a women. We sometimes think, should I push this hard? Maybe they'll think, I'm a bitch or whatever. Should I? No. NATFM empowers you so that you can go and break through those barriers that you need to break through to become, who and what you want to become. There were not any African American educated vocal coaches when I started. Everybody was a background singer who became a vocal coach. No one understood the science behind the human voice until I started saying there is a science to this, there's a medicine behind it, there's a pathology. And I still wasn't heard because, believe it or not, they wanted to hear it out of white teachers. I had artists say to me, I would believe you if you were white.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes. Because in the African American community, singing is supposed to be something we naturally do. We're not supposed to be educated musicians. We're supposed to be able to just do it. So anytime you're an educated musician, it becomes something else. And it took me a while and a lot of conversations with Johnny to get me. 10 years ago, I remember saying to Johnny, I talked to this artist and she said she wouldn't work with me because she just doesn't trust black coaches.
Wow.
And Johnny just really gave me a lot of encouragement. She gave me a platform and she said, look, you don't have to quantify what you do. Just keep doing it and they will begin to listen. And Johnny kept encouraging me. And then I got a network of women at NAPN that kept encouraging me, kept supporting me. And finally, I began to not only gain my own wings, but I began to gain an audience. And again, Johnny was right there when I was feeling like, I'm gonna go back to singing because I made money and I was good, so I'm gonna do that. She said, no. If that's not where God is taking you, then you keep pressing in. And that conversation was 15 years ago. And a lot has happened in that time, but Johnny was there standing in the trenches with me, and the women of NAPN were there standing in the trenches with me. So please, for those of you who have a vision and it feels like it's not being fertilized, this is the soil you want to plant it in so it can become fertilized. Okay, so that's enough. I can talk all night.